You are live on the internet right now, Grandpa. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you some more questions. Your granddaughter got some questions she wanted me to ask you. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Last we talked, you spoke a little bit about your mom, your dad, and your brothers and sisters, and how you used to work out in the field. Today we got some more questions. Do you appreciate do you appreciate about the way your parents brought you up, how you're raised? Do you appreciate how you're
Honest to God, because I believe that's a part of the reason why I'm living today.
Yes, sir.
And I believe uh, if I could have been a little bit better and went to church more, I would be a little bit better than I am today. Better shape than I am today.
Grandpa, you walk every day, twice a day sometimes. You
Yeah,
think you
yeah,
could be running and all that kind of stuff, lifting weights, you
yeah.
mean? Oh, okay. So let me ask you, Grandpa, um, what part of parenting that your mother and father, how they raised you, what part of parenting did you use for your kids?
Well, some parts of that I tried to raise them like, my father raised me, but uh, it was I was it was too late for that.
Mm-hmm. How you mean? Like, give an example. Give one example.
I believe uh, this dope and stuff come along and had a whole lot to do with the kids
Mm-hmm.
today,
Mm-hmm.
cause they got so they didn't want to go to school and they want to stand on the corner selling that mess,
Right. In
and they
that order.
wouldn't go to school and they wouldn't work.
Yeah. When you was a kid, who was your best friend? What's the name of your best friend you had when you was a child?
Well, the kids that I went to school with,
All of them was your best friend?
all of them was. Some of them was grown folks.
Well, who if you could name if you could remember one person that was your best friend that you played with all the time, hung out with?
Well, I hung out with some guys was lots older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hang out, you know. Fonzo Bland. Now in his way, he was a good guy, but he worked whenever he wanted to work.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Uh-huh.
and
Alfonso what?
Fonzo Bland.
Fonzo Bland.
And
Okay.
when he things everybody left Blackwell, Arkansas, I think his kids left him there, and he walked. I think he hitchhiked to St. Louis. They went to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. He hitchhiked, huh?
They hitchhiked into St. Louis.
They went to St. Louis and you went to Kansas City.
No, he went down to St. Louis too, but he didn't live too long for some reasons why.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, were you close with your parents?
Yeah, I was pretty close to him.
Yeah. Which one were you closer to, your mother or father?
My father, because my reason why I was close to him, my father lived longer than my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And when my mother was living, I was closer to her than I was him because he wanted me to work when I should have been going to school.
Yes, sir.
And that's
What?
the reason why I'm just began to
Sorry about that, y'all.
learn good. And
Mhm.
we had to quit
Oh my goodness.
and go, and
Mhm.
we had to quit
Oh my goodness.
and
That's
go
not.
to the field.
This messed up the recording.
Strip cane and stuff like that to make sorghum last when he could have did that
Mhm.
himself.
Yeah. He said he could have did it and you could have been in school.
Yeah,
I heard that, Grandpa. So let me ask you, what were the 1900s like?
1900.
Yeah, growing up as a youth in the 1900s. From the time you was born,
Up until now. 19.
19. So you was born in what year? 1918?
Yeah.
So from 1918 till let's say 1990. What was it
Well,
like?
time was beginning to get good, got good in 1990s. And then they come up with that gum dope and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the
They
pe- and the white folks closed the not the credit union, but the unions out. Because the black folks was getting on top,
mhm.
was taking over the best jobs. That's one of the reasons why Armour and Company closed.
Armor and Company. Where is that at?
That was Armour working at the packing house.
Okay, up in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay. What was the South like in that time?
Long in that time, the South wasn't too good to us.
Can you give us some examples of
That's the,
racism you
that's
experienced?
one reason why we left Arkansas and went east, went west
Mhm.
to get into some work into the packing house. That's when we left. Because during that time, wasn't nothing going too good for the black folks.
Like what?
Like work, wasn't no work there for us to do in Blackwell, Arkansas.
In Blackwell?
Nothing but farming,
Mhm.
chopping a little cotton, we did that. And after get caught up with that, wasn't nothing else for us to do.
Yes, sir. What type of racism did you experience
Okay.
down in the South?
Hold on.
What type of racism did you experience in Arkansas, in the South?
Race,
Racism, prejudice.
oh, black folks, I figure that's one reason why we left. Because when they would have a little work on the farm for us to do, if they could get a white guy to do it, that's what they would do.
Mhm.
And we wouldn't have nothing to do but chop cotton. And after all of that, get caught up with that, that was that.
Mhm.
Or either bale some hay or something like that. And baling that hay was,
So when you went to the stores and stuff like that, you could sit anywhere you want.
yeah, we could practice sit anywhere we wanted.
So
But
you could sit with the white people and everything.
yeah, yeah.
You didn't have to sit in the back or you there.
Well, when we went down to Marlton there to eat, we had to, go around to the back and all that kind of stuff.
You couldn't come through the front door.
If we go to the front door, you have to keep right on straight on through to the back.
Okay. What about how did you get to the restaurant in Morrilton? Did y'all walk or what'd y'all do?
Well, we mostly walk or hitchhike down there.
So from Blackwell to Morrilton, you would
Yeah,
walk?
sure enough wood.
Ooh, how far is that?
And if we would stay down there till the stores closed, we had to walk back home because there wouldn't be nobody down there for us to catch a ride home. We would have to walk. That was about 8 miles.
Did you ever see any lynchings?
No, I never did see no lynch, but I heard tell of the lynching guys down below us. They had to get out of town.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever see any racism, any mistreatings to black folks by white folks that you knew? Did anybody you know get mistreated by white folks?
No, I know.
So the fact that people you knew had to go to the back of the store and eat
Yeah, we
in the
had.
back door, that was just to you, that felt normal to you.
Yeah, in the way speaking it did because we didn't have nothing else to do.
You didn't have no other choice.
Sure enough didn't.
But in today's world, now that you look back, that's considered prejudice,
Yeah,
racism.
yeah. Yeah.
You do you remember the Little Rock 9?
The Little Rock, what?
The Little Rock 9. You were living in Kansas City when that happened.
Yeah, when they burned Little Rock.
Yeah, it's called the Little Rock 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a
You
little
remember the
bit of
story
it.
about them kids at Central High School?
I remember that.
What'd you think about that?
Well, we wanted to go down there and help. Set places afire.
You did.
So our parents talked to us and all y'all better not do that. You might get down there and you might not get back.
Yeah. So when you were born and as you became a young child to a teenager to an adult, slavery, as you know it, was pretty much,
Kind of rough.
it was rough.
Yeah, it was.
How was your relationship after? Well, hold on to that thought. You hold that thought.